Well, welcome everybody to our second capstone presentations. We have the spam bots here. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the question of the day, which is usually how we start classes. And just a little icebreaker. So today's question of the day for the final class is describe the moment this semester when you said, "Wait, I'm a developer." I think that's a good question. I always save this one for the last one. Now we're gonna start. We'll start with Matt. Matt, we're gonna start opposite order. Adrian's starting the presentations. Matt, you're doing last. So we'll start with Matt. And Matt, please take it away.
What was the what was the question again?
You're good. Describe the moment this semester when you said, like, wait, I'm really a developer. Like, when did you really feel like you're really like an engineer, or like yeah, you're a developer.
For me, I guess it's when I when I was doing this capstone. Um, when I guess when the website uh was really working, when everything was, I guess, starting to how do you say this? Starting to actually work compared yeah. Because if I saw myself like from the start to now, I think I'm two different people because I've learned a lot compared to yeah, I've learned a lot. So I'd say when I started doing this capstone, I really I noticed that like wow, I am a developer. Yeah. Um Junior.
Man, I I want to provide a an answer that's unique, but I'm gonna just right off of what Matt said. I think the capstone really kind of put things in perspective. Um, the project that I had done was something that has been in the back burner for me for almost 10 years, and I've always talked about the concept and could never get it through past the technology, but um, completing the capstone, I was able to take the first step, and it's real. And so I don't know what moment it was exactly when I was actually putting everything together, but I think the real significant turning point for me was when I was like, okay, I got a base model working. And then I was like, what if I did this? And then I like put it out and I was like, all right, it worked. And then what about this? And then I just stopped. I kept adding and adding and adding to the point where I was like, okay, I need to stop because I don't want any last minute things I don't want to figure out. But from the base model that I originally set out to do to the final product, I want to say that I put in about five things that were unexpected. And so that was just purely on at the end. And I was like, I wonder if I could do this. And then just did some research and whatnot and was able to do that. So um, the capstone project, hands down for me. And let's see. Ron, go with Ron.
Hey, what's up, guys? For me, man, I think there's like three instances where I was like, whoa, okay, like, I know something, right? And the first one would be when we did our first front end, the pages and everything. And I guess it was really seeing it all unfold on the front end. And then it made me realize, like, man, this is something we do every day. Like, we go on these websites, we log in, we see all this information, and now we're actually doing it on our own. Like, even just the login and the user, it was a pretty big deal for me because I'm like, man, we do this every day for different apps. And imagine us doing it from scratch to get it to this point. And then I think the one that really hit me was definitely this capstone. But like my cousins were like, hey, you want to come out and go play ball or go do something? I'm like, oh, I can't because I'm working on a project. And they're like, oh, how's it going? And then I kind of like break it down simply, like, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I did. And they're like, what the hell are you saying, man? That's like, damn, okay. So that was like a big, realization. I was like, okay, this is like right now we're used to all these terms and this language we use when we're fixing these projects and in class, right? But outside class, when you really share it with people, they're, you know, they're like they give you blank stares, like, what are you even saying? And that was pretty cool. Felt pretty cool. Okay, we'll go with Adrian.
Man, I think it definitely started when I got more into the front end side of things. I got more invested in that and I thought it was really cool. Especially the capstone and just seeing the options you can do. I really like websites that are really well designed and they're very eye-catching. And I really want to do more of that. And yeah, a lot of the CRUD when we were learning CRUD too, I'm like, man, I want to do more of that. It's something I feel there's more fulfillment when I looked at the concept of it and just the fact that you're the one that made it. I don't know. That to me that feels like um the realization that I want to do this. But yeah.
And Kiko, please take it away, Kiko.
Sorry, man. Was I the first? I ran upstairs, dude. Sorry if I didn't hear the question, but I picked up on it. I want to jump off of Ron. There were a couple instances. One of the more noticeable ones was like fixing some of the errors that I would have without Leon or Alana, and like just being resourceful and trying things out. Like Leon taught us in the beginning, like don't be afraid to try something, and if stuff really doesn't work out, then ask them and just not like accept defeat. Because last night I had a good one where me and Leon kind of caught me and Alana's, like we were doing it kind of okay, but I was just stacking pages on pages when I didn't really need to, and it wasn't printing the right code. It wasn't publishing the right code. So I had to push everything up to Leon and fixing it. But it was one of those instances. And then I really like how I could go and inspect websites, like Adrian said, something that interests you or caught your eye, or I too want to get better at CSS and full stacking and doing all the front end stuff as well. Um, but it's actually going and inspecting and reading a different style of code and having some kind of grip on it where you're like, oh, I kind of see. And then having that hover feature in those inspections, like something that you're like, how did they do this? And then you go and you see the code, you're like, ah, okay. And it's light bulb. And those are kind of instances where it's like, man, okay, I kind of feel like I can do this, or I have been doing this. But yeah, even to back off of Matt with doing this whole front, or this whole capstone thing, like we went from zero knowledge to having a website we're about to present to everyone, which is pretty gnarly. I kind of it really struck me the other day where it's like this it consumed me, and then it broke me mentally, and then it sharpened everything, and now it's like, okay, we have a bag full of arsenal, and it's thank you guys, appreciate it, ready to get it rolling.
I love it. I love it. Actually, thank you guys for sharing all that. I think that's really cool to hear. And yeah, I think yeah, honestly, you guys should and you guys hear me say this, like you guys should be proud of where you're at and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's one thing to hear it from me, and it's another thing to kind of, go out in the, I guess, the real world and like when someone asks you a question of like what you're doing, like what Ron was saying or like what Kiko was saying and stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and we're so used to these terms, like what Ron was saying. And then from there they're like, oh, what is that? Like that isn't, I don't know, what is a function? What do you mean function? And stuff like that, right? And so I think really you guys should be really proud of yourselves. And if you guys want, Like go check the recordings from day one. Like go look at yourselves asking what is a variable, like, or what is a function, right? And stuff like that. And you'll see like you guys have really grown a lot. So I think definitely
Dude,
some
even like, what is a terminal? Dude, that was like my question the first day.
exactly, and so now you guys live in the
How do I
terminal.
find the terminal?
Yeah, exactly, right? So you guys have
Turn
came a
off your
long way.
computer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, so for real, you guys should be very proud, and I'm really proud of all you guys. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and get started. And so the presentation order today, just a reminder, so it's gonna be Adrian, Junior, Ron, Kiko, and Matt. All right, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Adrian. So I'm sorry, we'll be presenting. The class will be presenting. They've been working on their project for about 2 weeks now, and so they're going to be presenting their final capstones. And so we're going to go ahead and start it with Adrian. And yeah, so Adrian, you're good to share your screen then, and feel free to take it away and show us what you got.
Awesome. Uh, Sorry, one moment. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, should show. All right, cool. All right, half a day. Sorry, I can't really. Is it showing the screen where it has the code? Because I have to
Yes. Yes.
monitor.
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
see. We
Awesome.
see the front and the back end. Yep.
Nice. Cool. All right. Half a day, everyone. My name is Adrian. I'm from the July 2025 cohort, and for my capstone project, I just built a simple music library. Um, Basically, an app that helps people have a list of their songs in like a library. I was thinking of something that's relatively simple, so I went with that. But yeah, I wanted to use that as a way, like it's similar to Spotify, but I just wanted to begin with something that's like a framework or a skeleton for future projects that can be a lot more complex. So I'll go ahead and show what the page looks like. I'll bring it in here. Cool. So yeah, this is very simple, uh, dark background, just solid colors you can see. Um, you can go ahead and start signing up for the music library. You can't see you can't see the font because I didn't make the text white, but we'll just go ahead and register or sign up. So I'll just make my name, my email, and then the password. So if I try to make a password that's like less than 6 characters, it's gonna say like I have to make it at minimum 6. So that was implemented to let me go ahead and just correct that. There you go. So if I press sign up, and if you see this, like if we have the same email, it's not gonna work. So then again, we have to make another correction. So I'll just put another name. So I put Arnold. Sorry, it's really hard to see. I'll zoom in for you guys just so you can see. Okay. I put Arnold instead of Adrian. So I'll go ahead and sign up. It doesn't redirect me back to the login page, but just to confirm it's already registered. The account is already made. So we can go ahead and log in. So you can already see that there's a song here, and I'll also demonstrate it again. But yeah, this is what the menu looks like. Music library, and then you can it shows here that I'm logged in as this user, and it shows the amount of songs that are currently available. So I only have one so far, so let's go ahead and add another one. Um, I'm gonna just find a Christmas song. Give me a second. I think everyone loves this song. You can't see it from my end, but I'm searching up on YouTube right now just to get a simple link. Okay, so if I want to add a new song, all I have to do is just press this button. Since this is It's actually Christmas very soon. Christmas songs. So yeah, I put the title, the artist, the album, and then embed a YouTube link to the song. So all I did was just like I just copied from whatever uh link to the song and then just added it here. Went ahead and added it. There you go. Okay, this is the first time I've actually seen it with two songs and it's a little scrunched up. But if I want to just delete one, this is all I have to do. Just press the delete button, it's gone. And here you go. All good. Can already play the song. And yeah, it's very simple. It works pretty well. Um, but I'm just really proud of like even though it's like not like as flashy as it is like in like Spotify. Well, Spotify was like black and green to begin with, but I just like that I was able to do a front end with um with the use of some tools that Leon provided. Also, I definitely like the dark aspect and the light blue. For me, that's cool. Some things that we struggled with during the project. I didn't have the right controllers because when I was trying to add the function on my own, the YouTube ID, I didn't add it in. So I had to migrate Rails DB migrate this function so that way it works. And then once that was complete, yeah, once that was complete, I added in this here. Yeah, I added it here. So like I had the title, artist, album, and user ID and everything, but I did not have the YouTube video ID that we added. The other issue I had that I can't remember exactly how we resolved it, but I did get help from Leon in regards to it, is when I was trying to sign up, it failed. But I correct me if I'm wrong, Leon, but there were secure params that we just needed to remove in order for the sign up to work.
Yeah,
But
yep, 100% right. It was using strong params and it was like there was a mismatch in the, I guess, level of the hash that it was sending. And so it was like the backend was expecting one thing, the front end was sending another. And so we just removed the strong params and it fixed it.
okay, yeah. Thank you for that context. Also, the whole reason why, but yeah, that's the some of the technical spotlights. Why I chose this is because like in the future in 2026, I want to start doing something to support a project that my friend has done for our channel. Sorry, let me just pull this up because I think it's really cool. So he we I'm involved in a lot of gaming competitions, and he has done a lot of work in regards to, sorry, you guys can see the YouTube video here. He has done a lot of highlight videos of like the players that are active in our community, and he was the one that made like all these graphics and all these videos and highlights and stuff like that. And we also have like statistics that he shows. So this is basically like the rankings or our leaderboard of all the players and their statistics, who they beat, like what are their highlights. But in the end, um, I want to eventually create a player database that has all that information in regards to like, our local scene. And I thought it was really cool because like he's making all these graphics and I'm actually the player over there, number one. And I want to do more than just like, compete. I want to contribute a little bit more. So this being part of the coding school and trying to make more of a library for our scene just so that way it's really cool. You have data, people can check it out. Yeah, I just want to contribute more to the community that I'm involved in. So yeah, that's my capstone, and that's the purpose of like the framework of what I'm gonna do in the future, hopefully in 2026, as I get more into coding and full stack development. And yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. That's actually super cool. And I think that's so cool how you're not only going to be in the gaming industry, but you're going to be building stuff for it, kind of thing. I think that's actually really amazing. So I'm excited to see, how that goes. Please keep me updated. And I'm sure, the rest of us want to hear about that too. So thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have Junior. Junior, please take it away.
Hey, off a day, everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. You guys let me know if you guys can see it. This is everything. Okay. Is it popping up?
We see the Slack. That's what I'm looking
Okay. All right. There we go. That's the slide. Here, I organized it a certain way so I can click on it without getting lost. Okay. Half day, everybody. My name is Junior. I'm from the 2025 CSG cohort. For my project, I did this thing called Island Math, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier in the question of the day. This was something that it's been in the back of my head for about 10 years. And so the major thing that I wanted to do was just to kind of develop a math curriculum for students, mostly K through 8, to help them prepare for algebra because everybody's favorite subject is algebra, right? So, yeah, I see a thumbs up, Ron. Thanks for being honest, man. um, so through the years, I've experimented with a lot of different math curriculum and whatnot. And in the end, I think it's just it's very confusing. So through the years, I kind of just put together something that I would like math to be related to, specifically logic. And I think if it's taught in a very logical way, very consistent, it's actually it's a very interesting subject that maybe could be the discussion point for many families, teachers, or students or whatnot. So that's kind of what I wanted to address. The problem is that when you ask students what's their favorite subject, you're probably not going to hear math very often, right? Which I think is unfortunate because I think it's a very nice subject if taught in a way that is progressive and makes sense through the years. So that was my driving factor. The goal was to just kind of create a product that would allow me to put together my ideas and whatnot and put it out into the real world. And so that was always the hardest part because the technology was just, I mean, the resources and everything like that was out there, but it just couldn't get the wheels to keep turning. And so when I enrolled in this class, this first time that I've seen the product actually become real. And I got to admit, it's pretty amazing for me. It's something that I'm definitely going to continue working on. But anyway, that's the problem and go. Let's go for this demo stuff, right? So this is how I organized everything. Here's my front end. Here's my back end. Here's the web pages that I'm going to be talking about, and here's the HTTP pie. And again, I know if someone without the background that we have in the school, they'll be just like, I'm already lost. And I didn't even throw in the terminal yet, right? So y'all should kind of recognize this. This is the back end, right? And then over here, here's the front end. And then over here is the HTTP pie where we test out everything. And here's the websites that I kind of use. So after we created everything in the back end, then we moved on to testing it out in HTTP, right? So I tested out over here, right, the users. So currently I have 3 users. I have a student, I have an admin, and another student that I just tried to see if the creation would work. Notice over here that they got the 2 roles, the students and the admin. So different access on the website depending on your role. Here's the assessment that I created with questions, and over here, here's the lessons, right? And this will kind of make a little bit more sense once we log in here. So here was basically the flow that I did, right? So first to deploy it out to the internet, we created the database using Neon, which this is an awesome website because it actually shows you all the tables and the models that you've created in spreadsheet form. This was, I mean, if I were to go back and answer that first question, you know, at what point were you becoming a programmer? I think I should have talked about this part, right? When models turned into Excel tables, because at work I would work a lot with Excel and whatnot, and you know, you know a power user on Excel when you see them, and you know the person that just has random stuff all over the place, and they're just kind of like keeping track of everything. So when I saw how the models got translated into this, there's a little spark in my eye, right? Just kind of go, oh, I see it. I see the columns and everything. So these are basically all the models that I've made. Right here, you can see how many times I've taken the assessments. Here are the number of assessments I have. Here's the pages that each lesson will have. Here's my lessons. Uh, even has the question responses. This is very valuable. Number of questions I made and the migrations that I did, and of course the users. So that was the first thing. After we got everything running on the back end, we developed the front end. We deployed out the database that we created all the data that comes in over here. It deploys out to the website. So that task is all done. Your website is all tasked out in terms of the data. The next thing that we had to do was we had to create the backend API. And so we deploy it out to using render. And now that we see it's all up and running and whatnot. Over here, the data, over here, the backend. And then from there, we deploy it out the front end using Netlify. And you can kind of see my website over here. This was pretty exciting to see because once this is all green and everything else is working, your website is live to the world. And I remember this happened at about, I want to say at 9:25 p.m. And I was just like, wow, this is actually real. It's actually outside. So got the website, sent it to my son, and tried it out. And of course, right, it worked. I was like, wow, this is pretty trip, right? So before I go to the website, I want to show you like some of the things that I use to just kind of guide me along the way in addition to the class, right? So I use this thing called Nano Banana, and it's created like the images basically from text. I just typed in a description and whatnot, and it developed it. So this was the first one that it developed, and I was like, all right, it looks okay. Let's remove the flower and everything like that. And we, of course, we got to put a Hagen hat on there. So there's me, right? And here, and then here. And so what I did was I took these images and implemented it into my website, which was pretty cool. One thing that I use a lot was this GPT, and it's one of the things that it's one of my big takeaways in this class is learning how to communicate with computers, how to communicate with code and whatnot, and what's going on. So with the class, I mean, it's not even recognizable what I used to do versus like what I do now. And even just how to talk to GPT and whatnot, you can kind of see what I did was, okay, I created one discussion for Q&A, and then I go, let's set this thing up. Let's go develop the back end. Let's do the front end. And then that's when it started getting kind of crazy, right? It's like, oh, wow, can we do this? And then you can see how it kind of gets all messy, right? But in the beginning, I was like, okay, Q&A. We're going to talk about the capstone. We'll set it up. What I did was I uploaded all the guides that we learned. And my goal over here was just to kind of capture my journey. So I was actually developing implementation guides to do my project, and I would just follow the directions, right? Which was pretty cool. But I think with all the changes and whatnot, it started turning into like this kind of stuff, right? Where it's just like, oh, okay, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And it's like, sure, of course, let's do it. And so after doing all of that, right? I got my web page, right? And I put it over here on the sign up deliberately because this is not where you're going to land, but where you land is you land over here. And you can't hear anything because I learned that if you put a video or music or something like that on a web page, they have like security features that just kind of shut it off until you initiate it. So this is, there you go. Let's do this.
That is fun.
Okay. So it just kind of loops and whatnot. The wow factor kind of dies off maybe about the 10th time you've heard it, right? But I got to go back over here because this is where we created it, right? It came from a static image, redefined it, used it in different situations, and then I used it to create this video. And then here's a pretty cool thing I want to show. It's kind of a sidebar, but
Get back, run! It's a buffalo!
so that's pretty cool because that while I was creating this, my kids were like, "Hey, can we try and whatnot?" And so we were at the mall at the time, and they said, "Hey, can you put a Carabao running to the Micronesian Mall?" And it generated this, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Right? So I showed it to the real young ones, and the young ones, where did that happen? And I would point at the mall, right? Because we're kind of like over here. This is Cold Stone Creamery, and it kind of looks similar, right? But the really young ones kind of bit on that. So anyway, enough with the process and whatnot. Let's go and log in. So one of the users, if you look over here, right? Here are the current users. Okay, so I got an admin and I got a student. So let's just go and log in right now with the admin. So admin at example.com and password. Okay, and then we log in. And so what's happening right now is this is kind of, again, using all the different websites over here, right? You got the back end, right? You got the back end API, or excuse me, you got the database, you got the back end, and you got the front end all working to make this part happen. And so initially when you do this, it has to kind of fire up the website, so it takes a little time, right? But I think over here, all right, you can kind of see what's happening when they log in online over here, right? And then the tables, you'll actually see in the tables, like if I take a test, you'll see the temp come out over here. On render, it says it's all working, so it should work in a little bit over here. This is all up and running, so it should be good and still logging in. So I've noticed this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's loading. So you come into this page, and so one of the difference is you're on the dashboard. So if you click on the dashboard, you'll see over here. Admin, I just put the feature over here where you could see all the users, right? So over here, here's the lesson. And if you start the lesson, hey, right, it's teaching about addition over here. You can go next, right? And you can go next. And then the lesson finishes, right? You can kind of notice even too, right, how GPT is, I mean, the Nano Banana, it doesn't get things quite perfect, right? But this was the interpretation of the Guam flag. So when you exit the lesson, right, usually what happens, you do a lesson, you got to take a test, right? So let's go take this test and go, what's the sum of 1 plus 1? Right, this will be the first time that I've taken this with the admin account. 2 plus 2 is not 3, right? So we'll just go and put that there and see what happens. 3 plus 3, 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. And then we'll mess this up, say, you know what, we mistyped, right? 0. We submit. What happens, it'll go and give you the score, right? And all of this right here, you should be able to see it in the back end because that's an assessment attempt. And there it is. It shows the, right? I just took it right now. So I think this is pretty cool. This is very useful for teachers to see. But that's the admin account, right? So let's go and log out. Let's go try the student account at example.com. Password is here. We'll log in. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And there you go. So notice that the only difference over here is that they have the dashboard. It doesn't have the admin one where it shows all the users because that's the protected stuff. Okay. So let's go try the sign up one, right? Let's go see. We'll go CSG at example.com and we'll set up a password. Let's create the account. Okay, so I guess there's a issue with that one. I had tested it before with setting up the users, but I guess it's giving me something funny that I'll have to research. But that's basically how the website works there, right? What I think the project is going to be in the future is I really want to get the ball rolling on trying to get it pretty comprehensive, getting my curriculum out and whatnot, and putting it all together, and just having a program that will allow kids to really progress with a consistent curriculum in math, and hopefully it has a positive impact on Guam. And that's me. That's my presentation for my thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Junior. I really
Yeah.
appreciate the thorough explanation and walking through everything because I think it's really cool to see all like the technical side because people don't usually get to see what it's like to like what does it take to get a site online kind of thing. So I really like how you went in depth there. So thank you so much.
Solid, solid.
And then for render, that first request, that's where the like it takes somewhere between like 30 to 50 seconds to spin up to turn on the back end after it's like kind of went to sleep. And so I think that might have been what was happening for that first request, but super cool.
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much again, Junior.
All right.
All right. So next up we have Ron. Ron, please take it away.
All right, guys, give me a sec to share my screen. Can you guys see the screen okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna keep it on the screen because I put a lot of work into the front end, so super proud of this. I'm just gonna let you guys soak this in a little bit. All right, what's up, guys? My name is Ron. Super stoked to be a member of the fall 2025 cohort. Hope everybody's doing okay today. For my capstone, I basically build a wayfinder navigation app, and I named it Blue Star for simplicity because it's a navigation app. It has a star, and blue is my favorite color. And then the intention of the app is basically to make navigation knowledge more accessible to everybody, targeting the younger generation because all the kids are on their devices and they're on the internet, right? So it's basically traditional arts meet modern accessibility in the form of digital tools. And then just to summarize it, I feel like navigation is something that proudly represents us all as Micronesians. And keeping these teachings and knowledge alive keeps us alive. It basically portrays to the world who we are. And Micronesia literally means small islands. But us amongst all the others are able to navigate through the biggest ocean known to man, which I feel is a pretty big deal. And this is something we should be passing down to like all the generation because it's cool and it's an important part of our culture. And just a quick heads up, this is version 1 of my application. Currently, it's not really like at a beginner level, so you must have some kind of knowledge of like seafaring to navigate through the app itself. But it's relatively simple. Here, let's just scroll through the homepage real quick. So it has a login and a sign up right here. And then if we scroll down, so I made this thing, implemented it through the help of AI. So quote of the day. So every day this portion changes and it throws out like a new quote relating to navigation. And then even this portion right here, the notes on navigation. Just a little quick information, I guess. Navigation is based off of like star patterns for your bearing, wave patterns. Believe it or not, you could tell where you are, where you're going by the currents or by the feel of whether the ocean is warm or cold, depending on like what part of the day. And then of course bird migrations, because birds they leave land to get their to hunt in the ocean basically. Depending on which bird, if they can land or not in the ocean, and then how far from an island they can actually travel out, whether it's 50 feet or 200 feet or even miles. Okay, and then in the application, I guess we can just start running through the features and the functions. I have this down here as well as up here, but you can sign up, make an account. I already have some like saved accounts, but we'll just go ahead and start off by starting off a new one. I think I'm just going to take a page out of Leon's playbook and just put like test. So we'll go test one.
I like that. Never forget it.
Right? Because you eventually run out of like random names to throw in here. And I think I used test one already, so I'll just do like test two at test.com. And then of course, the password's encrypted as well as the password confirmation down here. So we'll just go ahead and log in with a new password. So I implemented some seeds already. With the seeds, it gives you like lists of stars, star patterns, if you may, wave patterns, and bird migration. Basically, what this means is, for example, Polaris, widely known as the Northern Star. It's one of the stars that never really moves because it's located right at the northern axis of the Earth. So with the Earth's rotation, it just stays like it just doesn't really move. It moves significantly, like by a little, but it's not really like a lot for you to notice it. So this is one star, Polaris. There's no it as the morning star. 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning, you probably see it like on a summer night. It's the first star before dawn hits, and then it's usually used as a bearing because in order to go somewhere, you need to have like a bearing, and this one doesn't move, so this is a good start to use as a bearing for navigation. Then wave patterns, trade winds, depending on which side of or which direction the wind's coming from. Storm swells, and then you could easily read this and know if there's like a storm brewing, depending on the the roughness of the sea and the current. And then of course we also have our bird migrations here. So to keep it simple, on the bottom here, you could either view your observation, meaning you plot in a star pattern, a wave pattern, and a bird migration. So like how I mentioned, you need to have like some sort of knowledge about seafaring in order to use the app currently. Just to put out there, I'm not like a pro navigation or navigator or anything. It's just these are some of the things I kind of overheard or saw my elders practice when I was growing up on islands. So I'm not like junior level, senior level navigator, but just some basic knowledge. And these are the things we use to aid us in our voyages. So if you go to view my observations, currently for the new user, there's no observation yet because it's we just signed in with this. Then you have the option to create one. So you have the options for all three. You could use all three or one to base off your observation. Basically, this helps you, like on the notes portion, you could add in whatever notes you have. So it's like a voyage log. So if you were to say like, okay, I'm at the southern tip of Umatic. This is the stars I see. This is what I feel in the ocean. It's 5 a.m. in the morning, and these are the birds I see flying across the horizon. And then you could alter your notes to say, okay, because of what I observed, according to the star wave or bird migration, this is the best direction to go to, let's say, Rhoda or Cocos Island. So generally speaking, that's what the app does. So let's go ahead and plot in some options. So Polaris, which is a northern star, and we'll go trade wind because we're near land, reef area. And then bird migration will go frigid. The frigid bird, fun fact, they can't land in the ocean. So they can only like travel out maybe like a mile or two from land just to like hunt for fish and then return to land. So for example, like if you're out in the sea and then you saw it flying in from the east early in the morning, it would mean that land is to the west of you and within like a mile or two radius. If you're planning on like finding land, then we'll just say so while you plot in all the information needed, you can go ahead and create the observation. And then there, that's your first observation. You could add, I believe, endless amount, but I've only added up to like 3. And then you could edit it. So you could click the edit button and then you can edit it, basically. You could go in here and edit all of these features or cancel. And then you could delete it. So if you don't have need for one, or if after the voyage and you had some information that was wrong that you didn't want to edit, you can just go ahead and delete it right on the spot. And then it resets to 0 observation for the login, which is test 1. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and log out. And then here in the top left corner is the home page. So you could just click this and it'll just bring you back here to the Blue Star homepage. And of course, this won't change until, I don't know, I think it's like tomorrow evening time when I implement this code. So a full 24 hours and then the information here should be able to change. And I think one of the main things, the main problems I faced while doing the app was on the front end. I guess because I spent a lot of time on the front end, but we've been doing so many backend API that that wasn't really an issue for me. Like, we created the API, we did the models, the controllers. It's like I think we did like 6 or 7 that I think with all the practice, it was fairly simple. The authentication part had to list through, or we had the guide provided by Lon and Leon, so that was super helpful. But the front end, let me just go ahead and share another screen. So this whole class, I've been just using my laptop, one screen. So just bear with me when I'm like switching back and forth with these screens, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that. That's I have to have my 48-inch monitor here. It's too small.
Dude, it's crazy. I have like 5 screens in different corners of this laptop screen right here, this monitor.
Respect to you, Rob.
Can you guys see the front end? Okay.
Yes.
One issue I came across was so I was adding like homepage highlights and features, like that compass circling and those twinkling stars in the background. And then the issue I faced was every time I would create a new file, or when I created this file, I was always getting confused with the proper syntax. So, for example, like I did this file, did the code. This code is basically to add the notes on the front screen that you guys saw, or on the home screen that you guys saw on the bottom. Those notes and then the quotes that would change within a 24-hour time period. And then, Leon assisted me, but I tried to go throughout the steps myself, but it always confused me because so you added the CSS styling, and then of course you want it to show on the home screen, right? So you go here, and then of course you have to import it into the home. And then this was one thing that always confused me. I guess because lack of practice. We didn't really practice a lot on the front end that much, or I didn't for that matter. So like how you have the curly brackets, and that makes a big difference if you have it or not, because it'll determine if your code and the changes are pushed up to the home screen for the styling. And then you have to render it within the return function here, the method down here. So just to give an example, I made this file, did all this code for the styling, and then I had to import it to the home page because that's where I wanted the changes and the code to show. And then or you import it first from the highlights. And then it was a quick, easy fix that Leon pointed out. I had the curly brackets here. So I just removed it and then it fixed everything. And then, of course, we had to render the home highlights that we imported from highlights down into the return function. At first, I put it over here, and then it showed like at the top of the page. I was like, okay, I think I wanted it like either in the middle or at the bottom. So I tried to put it here, and then it was kind of like conflicting with that compass that was encircling in the front end. So I moved a little bit down, and that's how we had it to the bottom portion of the page. And then, as I mentioned, this is version 1 of the app. I do have like some pretty big plans for this app generally. I'm going to deploy it eventually, but the next steps would be to like implement observation features on the homepage. So, like if you don't want to log in and you wanted to like get some pretty quick basic knowledge on navigation or whatnot, like star patterns, you wanted to know how many constellations are there, you would be able to access that information on the screen, the home screen itself. And then one feature I would like to add to make this seem like an actual navigation log or voyage would be location, your start time, date, so you can actually get an actual bearing. Like it's in a sense would be like sharing your location. Like if you were somewhere, like you were in the south and you wanted to go to like Home Depot, you just share your location and then you share where you want to go, and then the app basically will tell you, okay, this is your this is your route, but it's not on land, it's in the ocean. Given in terms like coral reefs, weather patterns, if it's going to be raining or is there a storm nearby the island, all of that. So basically making it more like beginner friendly. So like if somebody just wanted to like know some knowledge on this, that you know to be honest, like my my uncles, or one of my uncles down in PD, he always calls me to come down and like help him clean the canoe or furl the sails. But I stay in Manila, PD so far. I'm like, yeah, uncle, maybe I'll see you later, but it's like 2 or 3 times out of the year. But if somebody really wanted to like brush up on this knowledge, and they don't have really they're not they don't have the, what you call it, accessibility to like a canoe house, a canoe. They're not staying next to the ocean. They could use this to like um, basically spark that fire in them for to push them to learn more. And like I said, this is something that I believe represents us as a whole as Micronesians, and it's something that would be good to like keep passing it down so it doesn't die out. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Papa Mau Pielu. So the Hawaiians didn't have it anymore, the navigation knowledge. So he went out there and he retaught them the navigational knowledge. Basically, he sailed from Yap on the Hokulea all the way to Hawaii without using GPS or anything. And then with the Hawaiian team, they did like a whole class and training. And then now the Hawaiians are practicing navigation again. Fun fact: a lot of those things we saw in like Moana, those are actually real wayfinding. Yes, yes. That's called the itak. Those are actually wayfinding techniques that they were taught from one of our own Micronesian ancestors. And then I guess the reason why, funny thing, like I was going through my stories because I watched Moana 2, and then at the end of I don't know if you guys remember at the end of the movie when all those canoes came out, right? When they connected all the islands or whatever. One of those canoes was actually a model made after my uncle's own. So it was super cool to see that in there. Maybe I'll share the picture with you guys after, but it's exactly the same color and everything, and it was pretty cool to see that. And I think this is something that we should keep alive for us and for the next generation. And then I just want to say at the end of this, thank you, Leon. Thank you, Lana. Thank you guys for always hanging out. You guys really simplified this learning curriculum for anyone willing and hungry to learn this information. It's unlike a normal class setting, it's super interactive. So we all go at our own pace. We all like branch off, but then eventually we come together as a whole and then we just move forward. And it's super awesome to be part of this. My grandfather always said, like, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you come from. And that's something like a navigation or navigator really holds dear, because you can't have your destination without your starting point. So thank you guys, and that concludes my capstone presentation.
Thank you so much, Ron. And thank you so much for the kind words, for all of us. I think we all really appreciate it. And I think the project in general also is really cool. I know nothing about navigation other than what I saw from Maui and Moana, but when you get this up and running, please let me know so that way I can learn a little bit and hopefully.
Seriously, that
Yeah.
was so cool, Ron.
Mm-hmm. It is, man. Be proud of it, for real. All right. Super cool though, for real. Thank you so much, Ron. Okay. All right. So next up we have Kiko. Kiko, please take it away.
Sorry, man, I'm still stuck here in the Matrix with my camera. I don't know how to fix it, but if I disappear, call the cops. I'm just joking. Welcome to Shared Shores. I changed the name a little bit. I I just made a bot kind of go through it. I kind of like this one out of all of it. I pretty much built a I chose to build this application to connect people with underutilized items that they have and renting it to neighbors or visitors. And it could be for however long of a period you would want it. I want to build a platform that empowers residents to put to use their idle assets and save money by doing it, make money by doing it, and build a resourceful community around everyone pretty much. It's pretty much a play off of Facebook Marketplace, if you want to say. Uh, they run the resale market here, and in a lot of places, Craigslist is kind of dying off. Um, so I kind of feel like this. I haven't launched it yet. I really want to do it by at least the end of January of next year. Um, and just have it fully functional and have it ready to go for everyone. But uh it's pretty much like marketplace. You can sign up, add a profile. Um, I already kind of made one going off of Leon's and run with the test. Uh, I made a lot actually with them with tests. So you get password confirmation. I kind of made one already, so it might break. Yep, see. So I'll just go ahead and log in, and then it takes you straight to a browse products page because you're already on the homepage when you land. That I'll show you the home JSX if you guys want to see it, but it's pretty much just you can go and browse products. When you add a product, so in my rentals, you can add or you could browse again, and then sorry, where's my ad? Oh shoot. Anyways, there's products already kind of listed here. Um, For example, I want to be able to connect people with, say, a screwdriver or a drill bit, or eventually get to jet skis and camera gear and maybe people. I don't know if you want to rent someone for the day, you can. I don't know why that's there. Sorry. For example, surfboard. You come into the product page and you have a drop down menu for when you could do your start date. And then the rental duration just basically bases it off the number of days you want it. And it'll set a calendar for you and then accumulate a price. Then you would hit request rental and then it'll go into your rental history. I don't, or I think I could do that because it's not live right now. It submitted it. I have to find where it is, but eventually it'll pop up into your rentals. And um, like getting into the what I want more for the website after this, I'm gonna add the payment options and everything. I want to get all you guys' contacts so I can send you links so you guys could create your own stuff before I actually launch it. Just so I can have different people throwing information in because I want the databases to all work, like images and all the profile information, all that kind of stuff. You'll be when you do sign up, you're given an option to be a user or a renter, and that brings you to a different. Here, I'll pull up my VS Code. It'll show you a whole different uh sorry. It'll show you a whole different dashboard when you're a owner or a renter. So it'll give you a bunch of different it'll give you a calendar, it'll give you all the it'll prompt or it'll post up all the I did this when I tested it. I saw what it did. It pretty much brings up all the stuff that you have and what's out being rented, and it's managing all the products that you have kind of in your profile. So that was kind of one of the cooler um, aspects of this that I wanted to point out. And then when I do the routes, when I look for stuff on HTPy, one of the easier things because of all the functions, I just use the resource, the RESTful convention. Is that what it's called? Yeah, so I use one of those just so it's kind of like you don't have to do the whole create action or anything like that, or I forget what it's called. But yeah, it just makes it simpler. Alana kind of taught me that way back, and it's just the resources colon whatever, right? Rentals or products or users. So it just made my schema so much easier. I do have diagrams for the schemas. So it when Leon was trying to make us do the whole tables, I kind of finally get it now. Like the associations a part with it too. If you guys can see, obviously it makes a lot more sense when you can see it like this kind of. And I got a bulk or I got DeepSeek to make that, and it was kind of like a lot. It just made a lot more sense to me after that. And then with the front end, it kind of did something similar where it shows you the exact like, oh shoot, the exact routing and just functionality, what happens. I don't know if you guys can see this. So it all makes a bunch of sense when you can see exactly where the actions and routes and everything are, like the controls are what they're doing and where it's going. And this is where kind of I was like, oh man, I understand these things. Like it kind of just blew my mind where it's like, dude, I we see it in movies, right? We see it in a bunch of shows, and it's just like, dude, now we're kind of we're full on bona fide engineers. And yeah, that's my website. I really want to get it as soon as I'm gonna start working on it like ASAP, obviously, like give ourselves time. But um this is just a basic like template format. I'm gonna change a lot of it up, add a lot of like my personal drone shots that I have stored for over the years as your backdrop. Like I said, I want to get really good at CSS. Um, and just knowing how to build these already, where it has hovers, it has little cookies if you want to call them, and uh I want to fill these ones out, even though they're not really, there's nothing to them just yet. They're just kind of like props or whatever you want to call them, simulators. And I just knowing like we can create those now, I can go deep into it and just again it like consume myself with it, break my brain again, and then just be that much better and faster. I'm really interested in seeing the first videos, like not like then till now. I really want to just laugh at myself and be like, dude, the heck, you know? So thank you guys, like Ron said, this is a lot of time put into it, and seeing everyone's stuff. Like I didn't know how to back up Ron Stargazer. That's kind of hard work, man. That's a lot of coordinations and math. And yeah, I made something just based off of like prompt and thought, but seeing them both work in the same similar way and execute the same similar way, it just trips me out, man. Proud of you guys. Thank you. When I do get this going, if we keep our Slack uh group, I'll just send it to everyone and send yours, obviously. And man, add when I publish it, I was gonna do something where like everyone, because I feel like this thing could go kind of big here if I do it the right way, or at least get it started the right way. And it could be beneficial for even us here in this Zoom meeting and this class and this group. So yeah, thank you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm down to answer them. Wasn't hard, it wasn't fun either, but yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Kiko. And in general, I think I really like this idea. I think it's super cool, and definitely like you said, as when you get it up, we'll still have our Slack channel. We'll even do it. We'll have an alumni one with more people as well in it. And so yeah, share it, man. We'll all love to see it and check it out. And see how we can all, make a little bit of money from the stuff that are just kind of laying around. So, yeah, let us know.
Bro, stop letting cousin Brett freaking borrow your barbecue grill.
Someone did say, like, mentioned it to me. One of my cousins goes, dude, just name it Chamorro. And I was like, no, I can't do that one. Because it'll stick, you know what I mean? But that's just a bad kind of a bad look when Leon's building a half a GPT, man, you know?
No, but
No.
that's the borrow no return though.
Oh
Your
man.
credit card will be returned, bro. Yeah.
Oh man. Great work, Kiko, for real. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So last up, we have Matt. Matt, please feel free to take it away.
Hi everyone. I'm Matt. Uh, and so what my capstone is, um, I did a recipe finder, or yeah, I kind of did like it's like a cookbook, I guess. And why I made this, it's for like I guess for people who want to try like other like different recipes from like other people like different recipes from other people because like everyone has like their own way to I guess cook stuff and like um I'd say like it could also help you out like if you're starting to like I guess go to the gym or like if you want to try something new. Um so um so this is the cookbook. Um so if you're not logged in, you could only like see um you can only see like the recipes. Like you could only like view it. You cannot make anything or yeah, you just cannot make anything. So I'm just gonna log in or I'm just gonna create an account. Um so when you create an account or when you're not logged in, um it and you click create recipe, it won't allow you because you're not logged in. But when you're logged in, you could click create recipe and then um you could add the title. I'll just put like fried rice and then um rice. Um and then I'll just put cook the rice. And then you could also add an image from anywhere. So I'll just take this image. And then then you put in the link and then you press create recipe. And then you could also edit it if you want, if you like add new things to it, and you could also delete it as well. And then if you when you press delete, it'll ask you if you want to delete it, and then you press OK, and then it will delete. Um and like one things like I would want to add is like a search a search a search thing here, and also um like if the user wants to like favorite this recipe, so like if so it's like easier for them to find if they want to cook it again. um like I also like I know it's going to be crazy, but like I also want to like add filters to the thing. Like let's say if you're vegan, it will only show um vegan recipes. um like if you're like vegan, it will only show this. If you're like a pescatarian, I guess it will only show these recipes as well. um hmm, and then for the things that like I'm proud of, I guess like I'm proud like this like thing actually is actually like functioning correctly. Um, hmm, let me change the screen. Um, so this is the front end, and hmm, I use the to make the website. I use the thing that Leon showed the to like design it, the Bolt AI thing. I thought that was really helpful because like I tried to do it, I guess, manually, and I don't know where I was going with that, but and then I remembered we went through the Bolt AI thing, and that was pretty helpful to create the, I guess, the design. And I'm just proud like it's actually working because if I guess um I guess if me from like the start of the class and trying to do this from there, I think I would have like a harder time. But um since I guess practice more and more for like to come to like this point of the project and for the class, like it got like it got easier for me. And I'd say like, something I struggled with was hmm, um the thing I struggled with this was when I created the was when I first tried to create the website. I kept it kept some codes were working, like it'll show the recipes, and then if I try to add something new to it, it would like it would just like make the whole website blank. And like I just took everything out and just made everything, I guess, more simpler to, I guess, make it easier for me. Um, yeah, I'm really proud that like it's actually it's actually working and everything. I think that's it.
Thank you so Matt. So thank you so much, Matt. Honestly, you did a great job, and I know because especially you've been really busy and it's been a yeah, a lot of work going on and stuff like that. So no, I think you're killing it. And I know you could do that search and that favorite and all that stuff that you wanted to do. It's just it'll be a little bit of time. But no, for real, thank you so much, Matt. You actually did a really good job.
Thank you.
All right. Well, congratulations to you all on presenting your final capstones. I'm honestly super proud of you all for real. I really, really mean it. And I genuinely can't wait to see you guys continue building these projects or any other projects in the future. And yeah, don't forget about Lana and I. We would love to kind of see you guys projects grow and get better and help out maybe if we can. And yeah. Um, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We'll take a break and then we'll kind of move on to the next steps of today. So thank you guys so much again for being here. And yeah, uh, you guys have a good one, I guess.